United States and a small bunch of its NATO partners are conveying military guide to Ukraine, including weapons. The Biden administration announced it would send $200 million in military aid to Ukraine and greenlit a plan for the Baltic states of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania to ship American-built arms there. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom delivered 2,000 NLAW short-range anti-tank weapons to Ukrainian military forces. The United States and NATO have ruled out direct military deployments to Ukraine. It seems likely the alliance will send more equipment. The weapons would ideally neutralize Russia's strengths while exploiting its weaknesses. Russia's nearly 100 battalion tactical groups are heavily mechanized, and tanks and infantry fighting vehicles would spearhead any major assault on Ukraine. Another key strength is artillery, which Moscow could use to pummel Ukrainian defenders before ground assault. Finally, if Russia wins and forces Kyiv's armies and militias underground, they'd need guerrilla weapons to bleed their occupiers white. AM-148 Spear against tank rockets. The US has effectively sent Spear hostile to tank rockets to Ukraine, however it could utilize some more. Lance is a more established rocket, however it's still profoundly powerful against tanks. Also, its scope of 2,500 meters would permit Ukrainian units to shield 5 kilometers of front at a time. Ukraine has scarcely an adequate number of spears to prepare a military detachment. It has almost 30 units, just as a collection of more modest units, reservists, and exceptional tasks powers. Completely furnishing the Ukrainian ground powers with spears would require something on the request for 1,500 Klus and at least 5,000 rockets. M142 High Versatility Gunnery Rocket Framework HIMARS is a rocket cannon's framework that comprises of 6 227mm rocket tubes on a truck case, making for an exceptionally versatile yet strong mounted guns framework. HIMARS can send off the Directed Numera Send-Off Rocket Framework GMLRS, a GPS-directed rocket with a high-touchy warhead. Ukrainian units could utilize a HIMARS GMLRS combo to target Russian armed force units a long ways behind the bleeding edges, showering base camp units, fuel dumps, air guards, and mounted guns with accuracy-directed rockets. A scope of 43 miles would subvert the confidence of Russian powers a long way from the bleeding edges and permit Ukraine to strike focuses inside Russia itself. -92 Marcus Stinger Rocket. The Stinger rocket is a short-range, man-versatile air protection system. The shoulder-terminated rocket weighs 33.5 pounds, has a scope of 2.98 miles, and utilizations an infrared searcher to home in on the hotness discharges of low-flying airplane. Stinger rockets would be especially helpful in discrediting Russia's benefit in helicopters, both Mi-817's vehicle helicopters and Ka-52 assault helicopters. These helicopters would be utilized to move air attack troops to landing zones at least 200 miles behind foe lines, just as to give close air backing to Russian ground units and to chase Ukrainian tanks. Stingers would likewise be helpful against the Russian armed forces armada of 500 robots, including the Orlan 10, a medium-range drone used to find focuses for Russian big guns.